Hey guys, Music Man here, back with another Identity 5 video. In this video we're going to take a look at some more Violinist gameplay, so yeah, let's take a look. Alright, so the first match we're going to be taking a look at is on Arms Factory. Now, Arms Factory isn't quite as hurtful as a map as what it is for some hunters. Some hunters kind of struggle on this map because there's just so many tight kiting areas. Like, this map is relatively tough on Geisha because of all the areas that you're able to tight kite in. A lot of maps are kind of tough on Geisha though. So I end up getting a first hit on this perfumer right here. So that worked out really well for me, and the perfumer wasn't really expecting me to hit that, so that gave me a little leeway to chase this perfumer for a little bit. If you let a perfumer suck up all your time, she definitely will. However, that perfumer wasn't expecting that note to hit, so I was able to get this down extremely fast. This is perfect timing to get a survivor down. Like, if you get a survivor down at this time, it's almost guaranteed at least a draw depending on how you do your camping. So now I'm just going to start looking around, waiting for where that rescue might be coming from. So I'm going to go over to this cipher, throw down a peeper. And sometimes I just like throwing peepers down on ciphers so that I'm able to disrupt that cipher rush just a little bit. If I had a little bit more patience, I might have been able to get the terror shock on the mercenary, but overall, compared to what I got here, which is one hit on the mercenary, and I end up using my note, and I end up hitting the perfumer again. So now the perfumer is going to be going down here really quickly. So now I'm going to go ahead. Perfumer is going right to the chair. And now you can see from the quick chat that the postman is the next person that's planning on making a rescue here. Now, if you're able to predict where a rescue is going to be coming from, you can pretty easily stuff a rescue. But being that I didn't know if the Merc was going to try to attempt another rescue there, or I didn't really know where it was coming from, so I ended up getting hit on the postman. He drops that pallet, so it wastes a little bit more time. And honestly, if I were thinking of, again, I probably should have made my way on back, but yeah, note, I got a double note hit there. So now that means both the postman and the perfumer are going to be going down here. So if you're playing against a violinist, unless like the cipher is primed or whatever, you don't want to body block against a violinist, because he'll just, if you play your cards wrong, he's going to do a double note on you like what I just did. And that was the perfumer's last time on the chair, and I know the postman is somewhere over here, so I'm going to go ahead and take the postman to the chair. So we got 3 ciphers remaining. This is looking almost like a guaranteed 4-man at this point. Yep, yeah, the postman didn't quite have enough to struggle free there, but I'm going to keep that pallet there. On occasion, it can be a pain for survivors to try to get over that. If they try to fault that pallet, sometimes you can get a terror shock if they try to go for the chair. I got really close to hitting that mercenary there. But I end up hitting the postman, or not the postman, hitting the mercenary, so it's just double hit. He's going to be down for a while. But the mechanic is still running around. So I'm going to go ahead and chase this postman for a little while, and the mercenary is now down, so there's only one cipher remaining though, so I have to keep my eyes open for that. And the mercenary is over in that direction, so watch what I do next. So this is kind of why it worked to my benefit to keep that pallet there. Obviously the mechanic's going to come try to heal the mercenary, you see. But now the mechanic tries to go for the rescue, so I get a hit here, and watch what the mechanic does. She has to vault that pallet, and she vaults really slow, which allows me to get an easy note to stuff this rescue right here. And you see the mercenaries coming too. He's gonna have to try to work his way around, or else he gets terror shot. And being that I think this was on a rougher rank day, so I was like, if I'm going to have an opportunity to 4-man, I'm going to take it. There are just days where rank gets kind of tough, or I'm playing, this happens more often when I'm playing hunters I don't usually play, but if I'm having a tough day in rank, I will go for the 4-man sometimes. End up getting a hit on the mercenary there. I see he's running his way in the middle. But now I'm going to make my way back to the mechanic. And even if the mechanic does stand up again, it's ultimately not going to help her out too much because I'm like right here. And use the ultimate ability, and the mechanic is down. And now all I have to do is look around for the mercenary. But yeah, this is pretty much GG's at this point. All I have to do is find the mercenary. I believe the mercenary ends up actually getting up, but either way, there's no way they can recover this game and still like do a full cipher or whatever. So what I'm gonna do is, if I was this mercenary, what I would do is I'd work my way back to the mechanic. I was just looking around to see if I could see the merc running in the distance, but Arms Factory, generally speaking, isn't open at all. There's a lot of obstacles in the way, so it's pretty rare for you to be able to see another survivor just way out in the distance. I'm going to make sure nobody goes to that cipher, but the mechanic does end up getting healed here, I believe. I'm looking around for that tinnitus is what I'm doing here, because I'm trying to identify where that merc is going to be coming from. I didn't think he made it back into ruins yet, which I guess was kind of my mistake here. But I'm going to go ahead and make my way back to the mechanic, who is actually healed here. But ultimately, the mechanic doesn't really have anything to work with. I mean, I could have tried vaulting that pallet for the speed boost, but still wouldn't have gotten her too far there. So I'm going to throw down a peeper, make that tougher to stand back up again. And as predicted, the mercenary was going to be decoding her, so I was able to easily get that hit. I end up getting a hit on the mercenary here, and the mercenary is going to be going down. At this point, they both stood up, so we use their exit paths. So, yeah, that's GG, and that is a full game for me. So now, after the survivor surrender here, we're going to make our way to game number 2, which is on Sacred Heart Hospital. Hospital is... I've heard some violinists may say that violinist is tough on Hospital. I actually kind of tend to like him here. Although Hospital is tough on every single hunter in the game, I find that most of the areas I'm able to work around pretty well, as with violinist. So if I was this doc, I would have vaulted right there, and because like every doc uses, I'm actually really surprised that didn't hit. I don't know how that didn't hit, but I'm gonna chase the doc here. That doc should have vaulted and then gunned it right to Hospital, because with Hospital, generally speaking, you're not getting caught. But I end up getting the doc down here pretty easily in like, what was that, like 30-45 seconds? That's a pretty good time for the first count. So at this point, the cipher should be at around 50-60%. Oh, you can see the P6 is at 67%, so I wasn't too far off. I actually see that this, I'm gonna place my peepers down on these ciphers, and I'm going to try to find where the rescue is going to be coming from. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing my patrolling strategy, where I get a hit early and then I'll try to get a note on the chair. A lot of top tier hunters will try to predict where the rescue is coming from, they'll be able to do that. But you can see the first round of cipher pops happen. So yeah, there's that. I end up getting a hit on the priestess here. And you can see there's actually more than one survivor going for the rescue here. And I was actually really close to getting this hit. But I still want to zero in on the dock because the dock is dead on share. I know if all else fails, if I get another down here, I can at least secure myself a draw. So a lot of these games, I go into them thinking, okay, I'm going to try to go for a draw. So I know I'm going to need to, if I can, I'm going to try to stall past half, but you shoot for the win, but a lot of times, I mean, don't get too greedy for the win, is what I think a lot of hunters struggle with, is they'll try to get all their, we'll try to go for the win, so they'll like won't camp the last chair that secures them a tie or something, and then survivors go for the rescue, and then ultimately it's a match loss. So even though ties don't give you a lot of points per se, it's still better to go for a draw than it is to play it risky for a win. Just because the way this game's set up, you lose so much if you get a loss, but you still gain a little bit if you tie. So a lot of times I just end up cutting my losses. Now I'm taking her to, in my opinion, probably tied for the worst map in the game, just because you look around, there's literally nothing except that one wall for the survivors to work around. So it's also in a really open area, so it's easier to find where rescues are coming from. Now the other chair that's pretty awful in this game for survivors is on the other side. So watch what I do here. I find the acrobat going the distance, and I saw that by looking for the ciphers that were wiggling. And being that the cipher was wiggling, I was able to determine where the rescue was going to be coming from by looking for the one cipher that stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and take this acrobat to the chair. Even though there was a cipher pop, still wasn't able to pull a rescue here. And if this was a tournament game, this priestess definitely would have just went for the gate, but being that this is ranked, she might as well have gone for the tie. And this priestess is trying to pull a sneaky move, but ultimately speaking, I end up not getting too impatient with those portals there. And this priestess is fully fed, so she's got plenty of portals to spare here. But watch what I do here. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport to the chair. I wait for her to get closer there so she wouldn't have anything to work with, but I end up teleporting to the chair here, and now the priestess can't pull off a rescue. And at this point, it's pretty much GG's. Her only hope was if dungeon was right there, which it isn't, you can see, and I'm just going to use a charge attack and down the priestess. So that's the end of game number 2. And now we're going to look into the third game. There's a coordinator, mercenary, priestess, and acrobat. Now, this is a relatively tougher team composition for a violinist, just because of the rescue characters. Mercenary is almost a guaranteed save. Coordinator is a guaranteed save. I end up throwing a note down there, getting lucky, hitting the coordinator around the corner. So if I was this coordinator, I would have shot this gun a lot earlier. But she waited until after I was able to hit my charge attack there, and that is an extremely early down for a coordinator. So what's important when you're chasing a coordinator, I mean, first of all, if the kite lasts too long, I just know from like the spawn points that everybody else is going to be in like relatively strong kiting routes or extremely far away from me. Like I could have gone to factory, but nobody wants to chase anybody in factory. But the important thing, if you need to chase a coordinator, is to try to stick around trees and other stuff that you can quickly hide behind if the survivor decides that they're gonna shoot the flare gun. So that's really important. Being able to hide behind an object in case the coordinator does decide that they want to use the flare gun. And in high tiers that rarely works because if they're playing coordinator, chances are they main that survivor. But there's the mercenary here who I feel probably should have just elbow padded to the chair. Now, I should have been more patient here. But I ended up getting really close to terror shocking the mercenary here. But without her gun, the coordinator doesn't have a whole lot of potential. She's basically like a lesser form of the forward because she does have the slightly increased ball. And I'm going to go ahead and take the coordinator to the chair for the last time. And I'm going to make my way through, I'm going to pass through Leo's memory, the factory, yeah, bleh. I'm going to pass through the factory because I know this place was recently decoded, and I'm going to try to make my way to a closer cipher. But I do end up seeing the priestess making a roll right here, so I'm going to use my note there so she's not able to complete that. And I think that really caught her off guard. I don't think she was expecting that, so I was actually able to get the priestess down really easy by, I guess you can call that a jump scare, really. But I think that priestess was planning on being long gone before I was able to catch up to her. So that worked out greatly in my favor. Now, honestly, they could go either way with the acrobat going for the rescue or the mercenary. Personally speaking, I probably would have sent the acrobat first because the acrobat's not injured and the mercenary takes a lot longer to get back up. So this mercenary is going to use all of his elbow pads here. I end up getting a hit on him on the chair, use my final ability, the mercenary is down. So now I saw the acrobat over there, so I know that this is where, if there's a rescue, this is where it's going to be coming from. So I was expecting to try to go around, but I end up seeing the footprints there, and then I see the acrobat, and I get a hit on the acrobat, and then ultimately, I think he used the wrong type of ball there, but he should have used the mud ball to make me slower, so I would actually have been able to catch up to the chair, but I mean, it was pretty much GG's at that point. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed and found this helpful, and that's the game. Well, yeah, that's the video. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any comments or suggestions for future hunters you would like to see videos on, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.